When watching our favorite NBA stars light it up on the court, we often don't think of the people behind the scenes, the coaches that mentor them, the parents that support them, and of course, their sons and daughters who love them unconditionally. Yet, despite the fact that many NBA stars are rather young, a lot more of them have children than you might expect. So today, we're going to be counting down the top 10 NBA players you didn't know had kids. However, before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our latest content. In number 10, we have Giannis Antetokounmpo. Given that the Milwaukee Bucks are true title contenders this season, it can be easy to forget that Giannis is not just an amazing basketball player, but an amazing father. That's right, folks. On February 10th, 2020, Giannis's girlfriend, Maria Dene Riddlespringer, whose last name is somehow longer than Giannis's, gave birth to baby boy Liam Charles. Like most couples do, they took to celebrating on social media, with Giannis posting a pic of the young Greek freak to Twitter. Considering that he got to celebrate the birth of his son on Monday and then go on to participate in the All-Star Weekend on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I think it's fair to say that Giannis had one heck of a week. At number 9, we have Dwight Howard. Although it may not be that surprising that Dwight Howard has children, after all, he is 34 years old, what is more shocking is that he has 5 children with 5 different women, with all 5 of them being baby mamas that he is not married to. What makes the situation more complicated is that they are located all across the country. 2 are in Florida, 2 are in LA, and 1 is in Houston. This has always been a point of embarrassment for Howard, especially because he came into the league as a devout Christian and feels that he has been a hypocrite for having so many children out of wedlock. As a result, not much is known about his children, save for one exception, Braylon Howard. The son of baby mama Royce Reed, Braylon is Dwight Howard's oldest son, being born on November 18, 2007. Conceived while Howard was on the Orlando Magic, the relationship between Howard and Reed is nothing if not problematic. Things have gotten messy countless times on social media, and this eventually culminated into Dwight Howard filing and winning a $500,000 lawsuit against Reed for defamation in 2011. Yet, that wasn't the end of his problems with Royce Reed. In 2014, Dwight Howard was charged with child abuse for beating his son with a belt for misbehaving. Citing the fact that he was disciplined in the same way as a child, despite Reed's protests, Howard was eventually cleared of all charges.
There's things that you never had a kid before, you wouldn't know. And after you have 1 or 2 or 3, then you kind of understand certain things. Actually, when my kids are here, you know, they get that environment. You know what I'm saying? They get that family, get that whatever they would need from their father. I try to be that for them. Not knowing how to raise a kid and trying to learn on the fly was something I think when people talk about not having kids before you get married, are you ready? I think that part is something that I want to really instill with my kids. You know, make sure that you are established, make sure you love yourself, make sure you're responsible for your actions before you bring another child into the world.
At number 8, we have Kawhi Leonard. Anyone who follows Kawhi Leonard knows that he is not much of a talker, but he remains silent to the point that most do not even know about his kids. However, the young star has not 1, but 2 children by his girlfriend Kashil Shipley. We know that his daughter Kalia Leonard was born in 2016, and we know that he has a son who was born in Toronto in 2019, but that's about it. The reason for the complete lack of information is due to the couple being very private. They both do not have any social media and do not make any comments about their personal lives to the press. Therefore, if you want to learn more, you're just going to have to wait for more information to be leaked to the media. At number 7, we have Demarcus Cousins. Given that he is often the league leader in technical fouls, it is no surprise that Demarcus Cousins has garnered a reputation as one of the most aggressive players in the NBA. However, he has a soft side as well and is in fact the father of 2 children. Yet, just like Kawhi Leonard, Demarcus Cousins is very secretive about his personal life, and we don't know very much about them. However, what we do know is that although Cousins married his girlfriend Morgan Lang in August of 2019, Lang is not the mother of his 2 children. We know this because Cousins was recorded on tape threatening to kill his baby mama Christy West because she refused to allow his 7-year-old son Amir to attend his wedding. In addition to Amir, Cousins and West also have a younger daughter named Vanna, whose age is publicly not known. However, regardless of how old his children are, we just hope their home life improves sooner rather than later. At number 6, we have Russell Westbrook. Whether you like him or not, Russell Westbrook is on paper paper one of the greatest point guards in the NBA. However, beyond the basketball court, it turns out that the NBA's triple-double king is also the father of 3 children. All 3 come from his high school sweetheart and wife, Nina Earl, who he married in August of 2015. His oldest is his son, Noah Russell, who was born in May of 2017, and his 2 twin daughters, Sky and Jordan, were both born in November of 2018. Not only are his children super cute, but Russell seems like the world's coolest dad. Don't believe us? Well, just watch this clip of him and his son sharing a moment on the court.
There you go. That's your back. Come on. Here. Go here.
At number 5, we have Ja Morant. For those of you that watched our previous video on Ja, this doesn't come as a surprise, but it turns out that despite being only a rookie, Morant is already a father. That is because on August 7, 2019, Ja Morant's girlfriend, Kadri Dixon, gave birth to baby girl Kari Morant. In addition to Morant being an incredible point guard, Kadri is a basketball player as well, playing at Fisk State University in Nashville, Tennessee. Considering that both her father and mother are stellar athletes, time will tell if the basketball genes get passed on to the little Kari. At number 4, we have Fred VanVleet. Although Fred VanVleet may not be one of the best players in the NBA, he is a perfect example of how having a child can positively affect a player's performance. A point guard for the Toronto Raptors, VanVleet has 2 children with girlfriend Shantae Neal. His oldest, baby daughter Sana Marie, was born in February of 2018, and his youngest, baby son Fred Jr., in May of 2019. Now, what was especially incredible about his son Fred Jr.'s birth is that it occurred during the Raptors championship playoff run, and although the birth of a child is sure to make any player upbeat, VanVleet's rise was truly incredible. Although he only scored about 11 points per game in the regular season, after the birth of his son, he began to consistently put up at least 15 points per night. What's even crazier is that VanVleet went from having a field goal percentage of just 25% and the worst plus minus on the team to having a ridiculous 57% three-point percentage and the best plus minus on the team. Given that VanVleet started turning on the Jets immediately after his son was born, it's pretty clear that it was little Fred Jr. that gave Fred Sr. that extra spark. At number 3, we have Andrew Wiggins. One of the newest additions to the Golden State Warriors, Andrew Wiggins is a major wild card in the NBA. Picked with the first pick of the 2014 draft, he was expected to be a star, and while still young, he's yet to live up to the expectations. However, although many basketball fans may focus on his on-court performance, what many do not know is that Wiggins is actually a father. He and girlfriend Michael Johnson welcomed baby girl Amaya in October of 2018, and the trio have been inseparable ever since. At number 2, we have Anthony Davis. From his trademark black unibrow to his incredible on-the-court stats, Anthony Davis has truly evolved into one of the NBA's top centers. However, what many do not know is that Davis not only has a girlfriend, but a baby girl. Much like Kawhi Leonard and Demarcus Cousins, very little is known about Davis's private life. However, what we do know is that he is dating a woman named Marlon, and the two have a little daughter named Nala, who was born sometime in 2017. Although there are very few pictures of baby Nala, we hope that the trio was doing well. Now finally, at number 1, we have Stephen Curry. Unlike some other stars on this list, Stephen Curry does not shy away from showing off his kids. In fact, however, what you may not know is that Steph Curry has 3 children. Married to longtime girlfriend Ayesha in 2011, the couple had daughter Riley in 2012, daughter Ryan in 2015, and son Cannon in 2018. With the Currys being one of the most famous families in the NBA, we hope that